Okay, hello everybody. This is John. I'm making a video so I can talk. um, I've been talking a little bit about I've been talking a lot about things with people, trying to getting people thinking about them, and one thing in particular has been religion. That's a big point of this video is because wow, it's because I feel like I've been saying a lot of things about it that have been, it's it stresses people out what I say, and but I don't want it to stress. I mean, I know it's going to, because it conflicts with people's identities. Their egos. The ego's all physical. The ego's in the mind, and it's made for physical survival. It's designed to be linked with our emotional hormones in such a way that it'll help us survive in a more natural world, where we've got to struggle, to escape prey or to attack somebody who's trying to, take our social spot in our little habitat, to get a mate or something like that, right? But we've gotten to a point where these things no longer serve a purpose, and in this case, you might even see that they might get in the way of communication, much less peace and harmony on the planet. The ego gets in the way of peace and harmony on the planet. It even gets in the way of our own peace and harmony in a lot of cases. But I want to make 2 points. The first one having to do with the idea that I need to read the Bible, right? I get this, they say, and it's reasonable. It's reasonable to say, hey, I know what I believe, and it's true. If you believe something, it's real for you, right? And you say, yeah, hey, I know what I'm thinking, and if you don't agree, it's got to be because there's a decent chance, perhaps at least, that you don't know as much about it as I do, So maybe you need to look into it more before you start talking to me. And I'm there. I'm with you. I'll be the first to say that the Bible's got some very profound wisdom in it, like tidbits of understanding and enlightenment that are, the more people need to be aware of these things. It's good that they're available, because more people need to be aware of these things so that they can find more peace in their lives or peace with the world around them. But I'll also say there are some things in the Bible that are extremely ignorant, and I don't, I feel like, I mean, I could send some of these scriptures back, but I feel like that'd be a real conversation ender, hey, all right, so there are some things in the Bible, you're putting them in my face now, but this conversation's over. It'll get rejected. I'm not saying that's 100% true, but there's such a good chance of it because of what I just said. The ego is, everything Yeah, I'm saying all these things to people, and I know that I'm not expecting to move mountains. I don't. I feel certain that my progress will be very little. I've had, some people are ready. Some people aren't. But I'm gonna say what I say to whoever, because just in case somebody's got to be saying it. But yeah. The other point I want to make is about. I talked about it recently in a post that the speakers of these religions, I believe, made a fundamental flaw, and the reason I say that is because I believe that these speakers were speaking from the Spirit. They were existing in the Spirit. They were they were fairly divine compared to what you might consider to be the average individual. And when they were speaking out of the Spirit, they were speaking to our spirits. This is why a lot of times we can say, wow, that sounds so deep, so true. It makes so much sense. And yet it doesn't even seem to impact our lives as though we actually registered this understanding that we seem to recognize as an understanding. Very interesting, Why don't I already feel peaceful? I've read over everything I need, all these tidbits of info that I need to feel peaceful. Why am I not feeling peaceful yet? And that's part of the flaw. The flaw is because they were speaking out of their spirits to our spirits. Our spirits weren't there to listen. What was listening was the ego, the physical bit of us, the part that dies. It's a part that needs to die now, because it's already dying. You weren't who you are as a child. that child's gone, good and gone forever. You know, it's never coming back, so to speak. You can't even bring it back, even though you might say it's in you, or maybe who you are now is founded on your childhood. All these ideas can seem true, especially with reductionist logic. But who you are now will soon be gone too. I mean, in a sense, it might be gone next month, depending on how fine you want to draw that line between this is me and this is not me. You know, the death is constantly occurring, but it's not a it's a death of who you think you are. It's not a death of what you really are, which is the spirit underneath the ego, kind of watching it all happen. And that's what I'm trying to bring out. You know, that's what I'm trying to shine some light on this concept of us being an ego and a spirit operating at the same time. And every time we think about ourselves, we reflect on our thoughts, which are all in the mind. The spirit's a very silent thing. It's not saying much to us, but it's very peaceful. It's divine. It's godly, and it's in us all. You know, we're all a house of the Lord, so to speak. But we don't get it though. We don't live like that. We all think that's true, but why do we feel crappy? Or, you know, why do we why do we buy some junk before we feed a small family somewhere else for, you know, for a month or a year, whatever? You know, we're not acting as though this God that a lot of us believe in, or at least we believe in, is actually here right next to us all the time, or inside of us even more intimately, you know. And that's a problem. That's an obvious flaw. That should be an obvious flaw to people, to say, well, we all know that God's here, and it's not all of us do. I mean, there's atheists, of course, but that's a different subject. And I mean, at least atheists have it. Let's leave atheism out of this for a moment. I don't have enough time on this video. But yeah, that should be an obvious flaw to us. The fact that we can all say, well, I know in my heart of hearts that God is here operating with me, and yet I'm doing things I'm doing things that I know better. I'm serving myself all the time. Why would I do that if I really believed God was right here and my life was eternal? That this me I'm serving is here and gone in no time, while I remain to be an eternal being. You know, you can't just go to heaven and expect to be happy for all eternity, because you are the mind that creates your own suffering. The way I think a lot of people are looking at it. You know, God's not just gonna rip your identity away from you for the sake of you being happy when you go to heaven. You know, you've got to get away from your own mind. You can do that now and find that kind of peace and harmony. It's very challenging. There's a lot of things operating that will make this difficult for us, but it can be done. It can be. People are doing it. You know. It's how do you as you can see, it's not even talking about these things is just tricky, you know. I'm trying to convey something to you, and it's not what you want to hear. and yet I'm sure I've said enough that some of this might suggest that there might be some kind of truth. Surely there's got to be some hint to any seeker of insight, or even just somebody who wants to understand people better listening to this. There's got to be something here that says it. We all know, you know, everything we have is going to go, you know, and we're all holding on to the people we love. We're all going to be gone. And when they go and our things go, we all feel like crap about it, even though we know already it's inevitable. Why aren't we already prepared? And the thing is, we can't be. The ego, the physical mind, the source of all your troubles has not evolved in such a way. Not just from you know, generation to generation, but talk about even in this one life that you've lived. Your mind has been designed very heavily by this life. And it's going to be very hard to escape. I guess maybe I'll need to make more of these videos. I guess it's kind of fun, but yeah, maybe I'll need to make more of these videos. But here's this one, and